Welcome to Module 2, Lesson 3. This lesson's about how to take your vision and turn it into a 10-year goal. Again, you'll want to have your workbook nearby so that you can write your thoughts and your notes as we go through this together. And I'll be demonstrating how I did this for my own family and share the story of how this helped, what it did for us. Now, I just want to dive back into my own personal experience here. Back when I was an Air Force officer, I was a nuclear launch officer for the Minuteman III weapon system. And there came a time during this period where my wife and I went from 2 to 5 children in 1 year. She was suffering postpartum depression, and I was struggling with the pressures at work. I was in the middle of a master's program, and so all dealing with these emotions while I'm also trying to figure out how to be productive and effective at work without hiding away from the discomfort of it all. Because let's be honest, nuclear weapons can be a little scary, can be a little intimidating, and there is a lot of regulations to get through. And I just really struggled with boredom on alert. And I found that when I was able to come home and talk with my wife, there's sometimes I'd come home just feeling super embarrassed, full of shame, because I was supposed to get a certain amount of work done during my night shift for my master's degree. And there are some times where I didn't get it done because it was much more entertaining to read the news or to watch YouTube. And then I didn't get as much or get as far as I needed to during my shift, and then would have to come home and work and not be able to spend time with the family. And that was always super disappointing and frustrating for my wife, who was really looking to get some support at home, especially with twin newborns. They were 9 months when our fifth was born. So we had our first 2 children biologically, and we had 2 adopted, and then had a surprise pregnancy at the tail end there, about 9 months after the adoption of the twins. And there were times when my wife and I were able to come together and just talk about what is it that we wanted? What is it that we wanted for the family? What was it that we were working towards? And developing this vision for our family was often very exciting for me, because we'd both talk about, all right, 10 years down the road, where do we want to be? And we just build this really exciting vision for ourselves, and it would give me motivation at work to say no to the impulses to watch YouTube. One of the things that came out of that was my wife once told me, anyone could be a rock star in this career, but there's only one person who can be these kids' rock star dad, assuming we didn't divorce, which was not in the cards for us. We didn't want to divorce. Only one person could be the rock star dad. And so that helped me make a lot of different choices at work. I was very choosy on which side projects I picked up, because we had this vision of what we wanted for our family. We wanted a large family, which currently was impossible with my wife's health. And so that meant adoption, which meant a lot of work, getting certified. So that meant saying no to things at work. But we developed this vision for what we wanted. And as those things kind of piled on, I realized, wow, what we really want is actually really hard. But we had to come back again to what is it that we're searching for? What is it that we want to achieve in our family? And we wanted a close family. We wanted a family that we could return to. And that meant me being involved as a father. And so that having those concrete vision, and we often would sit down and say, 10 years from now, where do we want to live? And that changed. That's the great thing about 10-year visions, is that it's far enough in the future you can really dream big. That's what I invite you to do. Dream big. Imagine anything is possible in 10 years. Whether that's healing for yourself, healing for your family. Just imagine 10 years from now, anything's possible. Anything can happen in 10 years. You can make dramatic change in 10 years. So that's the first premise you really want to hold on to. Anything is possible. Anything can happen in 10 years. And that's what my wife and I always really approached this with. And that's what really gets us excited. We make these big goals that just really excite us enough that we are willing to say no to good things, but things that don't help us get there. And so it really helps us. It really helped us, help me during my night shifts to stay focused at work. And the number of times I came home saying, I didn't get enough done, as we did this exercise over and over again, the amount of times that I came home and did that became fewer and fewer. And I was able to complete my master's degree. We were able to adopt. We were able to make some changes at work. It gave me the courage to go and talk to my commander and get some changes in my work schedule just so that I could be present at home more. And I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have sacrificed the potential of awards and having more FaceTime with everyone if it wasn't for that vision of who I wanted to be. Okay, so that's how it helped me. And I promise that's how it'll help you, is you'll be able to make better decisions with a concrete 10-year goal. You're being more motivated, you're gonna be excited. And that's what you really want. You want your 10-year goal to really excite you. Enough that you're willing to say no to other opportunities, because this is what you really want. Is train your eye to focus on the opportunities that matter most to you. So with your 10-year goal, you want to focus on some fundamentals. These are fundamental questions you want to ask yourself every time. And you're going to look at your vision and your values as you answer them. So here I call these the 10-year fundamentals. And you'll see these spread out in your 3-year family picture, your 1-year plan, and your 90-day quarterly plans and priorities. What are the fundamentals? First, marital status. Do you want to still be married in 10 years? How do you want to be married in 10 years? If you're currently single or you're currently in the middle of a divorce, if you're a blended family, I think it's important to ask and answer that question. What do you want your marital status to be in 10 years? And with whom? And how do you want that marital status to look like? Maybe you want to be happy and single because you want to get out of a relationship. And maybe you can think to yourself, maybe I can do that in the next 5 years and take some time to heal and then, find someone. So 10 years is a long time. If you're going through the divorce, or maybe you already have someone in mind, just imagine though, you want to look at your marital status and remember anything is possible in 10 years. And so go with what you really want, what's based on your values. What do you want your marital status to be in 10 years? Okay, after that, I always like to ask myself, family size, okay? Family means there's normally more than one person. And for many of us, depending on your stage in life, you may be looking at having additional children. You may be looking at grandchildren. Maybe there's something you can do as a grandparent as children come along. Again, that's all within respecting other people's choices and what they want in life. But I think that's an important question to ask as a family. Oh, what is the family size? Again, 10 years, anything's possible. Even if you're a woman and you can't have children biologically, there's a lot of other ways that you can have children in your life, whether that's through foster care, adoption. That's what we did. And so just ask yourself, family size, put a number down. Third, location. This one's always fun to look at in 10 years from now. Where do you want to be? Do you imagine yourself being in the same house 10 years from now? A new house, looking at a different state, different country. My wife, when we're looking at the 10 years out, we do want to be traveling. She wants to spend some time on the East Coast. After our kind of stint where we're currently at, we always think of stints in 4 to 5 year periods because that matches well with where our children's stages are. But we want to spend some time on the East Coast. And then we want to spend some time traveling. And so 10 years from now, that's July 25th, 2033. Where do you want to be today? That's the day of this recording. For my wife and I, we want to be in a foreign country. We want to be traveling. We want to show our children kind of the wide world that's out there. So that's for us. And I guess I didn't really specify the size. So right now we have 9 children. I'm guessing that's going to bump up to 1 because Melissa keeps on talking about wanting a girl to round things out. She wants to have even number of children. So we'll see. Not anytime soon. 9 children's a lot right now. Okay, so we talked about marital status, size, location, and then also I think it's really important to discuss income. What is your family income in 10 years? A lot of times money, though it may not be the most important part of your life, it is an important part. And it may fuel a lot of what you want to achieve together as a family in terms of your values. And otherwise, it may not. In terms, for us, we want a certain level of income so that we can travel. And we think it would help our family become much more resilient, helping them see and also to be a little more grateful if they're able to see and be exposed to other cultures, other ways of life. So they can see what it is that they enjoy here, what others are able to enjoy, and how happy someone can be with having less or having more. We just think traveling will give them a great perspective in life, help them become more resilient, grateful. So that's something that we want to utilize in our own plans in terms of our own vision and values for our family. And so that's a question you want to ask yourself. What do you want your family income to look like in 10 years? And that's what I call the fundamentals, the family fundamentals: marital status, size, location, family income. Because those four things build a building block, which is what you can concretely achieve as a family once you go from a vision, direction, to something concrete that you want to do for your family. Now, those are fundamentals, but I would say almost that it may not be even the most important of the questions you want to ask yourself, because now you really want to dive into family culture. 10 years from now, what does your family culture look like? What is it that you want to be doing? What do you want the general feel of the family to be? Do you want your children to want to come and return home because you have this amazing ability to communicate with each other, and you have this psychological safety with each other so that children are really comfortable opening up and sharing with you, and they don't feel like you're going to ram what you want down their throats, but you're open to listening and understanding and asking probing questions, and that helps them understand what they want. So define and kind of think about your family culture as it relates to your family goals. For us, we want our children, as we think about 10 years from now, we want them to be really resilient. They know they can experience hard things, hard emotions. They can experience failure and success and take risks and just take life in a kind of a growth mindset. That's what we want for our children. And we want them to know that we care and that they're just so grateful for life. So we want to, as we think about what we want our children to have learned, it really helps us focus on what it is that we want to be teaching and inviting them to learn. And so that's what you want to go through right now. Marital status, size, location, income, culture. And culture is just general at this point, just looking at your values, looking at your vision, just putting something down a little more concrete as to what you want your family experience to be like 10 years from now. And you may also want to ask yourself, what is it that you're consistently doing in terms of your traditions and rituals? For us, we want to be seeing local sites and attractions. We want to be having weekly one-on-ones with each other and our children. We want to be still doing our daily highs and lows at family meals and spotlighting acts of kindness with each other, writing weekly thank you notes. These are all sorts of things that I want envision my family doing 10 years from now. So you want to just take a stop and write those down for yourself and your family. Now, it may be that you're first doing this again individually. So you may answer these questions as an individual first, if that's where you're at. And then you want to start engaging your spouse, your partner, and your other children, asking questions like, well, where do you see us 10 years from now? If in the ideal world, if you can create the ideal, anything could happen. What would you want 10 years from now? And just be open and curious about what they say. Be the explorer, the warrior. Don't come in assuming best. Don't come in believing that they should value something one way or the other. And just be open and vulnerable to what they have to say. And that's how we begin the dialogue. That's how we begin the communication and connecting. That's what's going to heal the understanding and healing. Can't wait to hear what you all are experiencing, your questions on our group coaching call, and looking forward to seeing you all in the next lesson.